social workers sometimes get a bad rep. I've had many overwhelmingly positive experiences with social workers, so why is this image of them so common? I'm Beth Moran, a novelist and foster carer. Today, I'm going to meet social workers and people with lived experience of social work. I'm on my way to talk to a social worker who grew up in care herself. How did you get into social work?
At 15, I went into the care system. When I had my son at age 17, I think my whole life changed, and I realised that actually I had somebody that was relying on me and I couldn't end up in prison. That led me into the social work field, wanting to be the person that I probably needed as a child. There is a public perception that social workers only work with children and their families in times of crisis. That is literally a myth. I've worked with vulnerable adults, adults with learning disabilities and adults with physical disabilities, as well as parents and carers within the community to empower them to advocate on behalf of their children.
And can you tell me a bit about Ken?
It's been an amazing journey with Ken. I can't believe that he's actually the age that he is now, because I still remember the 15-year-old that was not a very happy 15-year-old, quite defensive.
I first actually met Claire a few years ago when I was still getting involved with the gang life and losing my friends, and my mum actually ended up finding a weapon in my room. So she seeks for help and called social services, and that's how I ended up meeting Claire.
Is what I'm living in now. But 2019 no longer a destiny child, cause I was holding around and flicky pocket is down.
So what have social services done for you?
Social services has changed my life. If Claire and the people like Claire didn't get involved in my life, I know I would be dead right now. They saw my talent, they saw the potential in me, so they started to work with me and put me in a studio. That led me to be performing at the Commonwealth Games.
Wow. Next, I'm meeting a social worker who knows firsthand how problematic these negative narratives in the media can be. So, how does the public perception of social work affect you?
I really love my job, but I think that sometimes the public is really misinformed by the media about the role of social workers, and this information can really breed some fear, suspicion, and it impacts our capacity to build positive working relationships with children and their families.
So how did you become a social worker?
I think as somebody who experienced some kind of adversity and difficulties in my own life and childhood, I recognised that perhaps I could have benefited from having somebody like a social worker in my life. There was one mum in particular that I worked with, and I remember the first day I knocked on her door and she kind of wouldn't let me into her house, and I think she was absolutely terrified of what I was there to do. We worked together for probably over 2 years to help her kind of leave a abusive relationship, learn much more about her children and really build a deeper connection to them. She eventually was really empowered to kind of take control back of her life.
My foster daughter Bella has had a social worker on and off since birth, so I'm interested to hear what she thinks. So what would you say your relationship with your social worker is like?
My relationship with my social worker is really positive, because when we first started getting to know each other, she took us out for milkshakes and got to know me a bit better, and she just listens and cares about me.
We've heard how the negative narratives around social work create problems, both for social workers and the people they've supported. But these personal stories can help us to rewrite the narrative, leaving the false stereotypes in the past and showing how important social workers are to us, both as individuals and to society as a whole.